Unconditional love to all life everywhere. I'm Olo, Thoth, code in the cosmos, sending you heart, love, and energy. So today's topic is identity. But first, I wanted to make an announcement. So I'm writing 3 books right now, and I don't have any books published yet, but I am Thoth, I am a scribe, and I'm back, so I hope you guys are excited about that in some way. But really, if you understand my teachings, I am not back in this world. I have never been born into it because the separation never occurred, and this is a inlandish idea, if you know what I mean. Not outlandish, because really, within our heart, our guidance, spirit tells us that this is true. So I call it inlandish, not outlandish. So one of my books is an autobiography, which I am calling Bearheart, The Quest for the Turquoise Aura. And this is my autobiography. It starts when I'm 16 years old and is going to be ongoing until I'm 31. And I've just been guided to write it until I'm 31. For some reason, that's not being revealed to me yet through my guidance, but I'm trusting my guidance anyway, that this is the right time to end the book, and maybe I'll continue it in another second book or something, but for now it's starting when I was 16 and ending when I'm 31, and right now I am almost 23, turning 23 on September 10th, so of 2020. So the second book is I don't have a title for it. I think I'm going to call it Wisdom Mantra or call it something like that, but it's just a book of teachings with stories to explain each teaching. And the third book is the most exciting one that I just begun writing, I think 2 days ago. And it's titled The Book of Wisdom and Love, Spiritual Principles of Peace. So this book is going to be amazing because I'm really hearing the sacred spirit's voice, and I'm being guided to call, the Holy Spirit the sacred spirit. I'm using different terminology than A Course in Miracles, but it is all of its teachings, all of what it has to say is in alignment with A Course in Miracles teachings. So I'm offering you guys another book that can teach the same thing, and you can reach the same goal through reading it. And I'm very, very excited to announce that, because when it's done, I feel that it's gonna change the minds of people who are suffering or believe they are suffering. And I hope not to offend anyone with saying that, but suffering is the belief in illusion, so that's why I say belief in suffering, because I'll explain through this video why suffering isn't real in some way, but that's my announcement, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys. So this video, the topic is identity, and my intention with this video is revealing to you, or triggering your memory, rather, to who you truly are, and to let go of this false identity and self-concept of who you think you are, because you can believe that you are a body. You can believe that you are this universe, but what's really true is, well, I'll reveal it in this video. I'll reveal it in the next point, I guess, because that's what it says. So I always give out a mantra. After I speak my intention, I give out a mantra. And the mantra I am choosing for today is, I am spirit, I choose love. So you can add to this mantra, I am not a body, I am spirit, or I am not this universe, I am spirit, I choose love over fear, or whatever you want. Sometimes it does help to deny the ego for some people. But simply saying I am spirit, I choose love, or I am love, or however you want to word it, you can figure it out. As long as it's true, go for it. Repeat this mantra for a whole day, or for as long as you want, really. As long as you feel guided, and as long as it feels right, and as long as it gives you joy. So I want you guys to be creative with mantras, and just I'm speaking loosely of this mantra. You can change the words of it if you wish, but I do recommend just, I am spirit, I choose love. And that is in alignment with this whole video and what it offers. It will give you the right idea of what you are, who you are, which is spirit and love, which are the same thing. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a little bit of the ego's world, the ego mind, and what it believes, or what it's trying to convince you to believe. For the ego is not you, and like I've said before, the ego never has a grasp on you, and it's not its choice to let go of you and set you free. It's you that have a grasp on the ego. So all you have to do is drop it and let go, and deny its existence, and deny its power over you. So the body self-concept. So believing that you are a body, and that you are separate from every other body, is just not true, and will make you feel bad if you believe this. So this is why. If you are a body, you are vulnerable, and you can be attacked, you can be hurt, you can feel lonely, you can feel lack, and all of that kind of thing. Like even eating food, for example, you might think that there's fulfillment in that, you might believe that, but really you're just feeding your body, you're not feeding who you truly are, which is spirit, because spirit doesn't need to eat. Spirit is complete. It doesn't need fuel to keep going. It is love, and it's everlasting. It's changeless, formless, eternal love. And it is all. There is nothing else. So the body's self-concept is of the ego mind and promotes suffering in the mind, which I'll touch upon this subject again, or this point again, that it does not really promote suffering. I mean, the belief that you are a body, the belief that you can suffer, will make you believe you are suffering, but you can never suffer because you are spirit. And then I wanted to talk about the separation self-concept, or what some people think is oneness. Well, some of you that are spiritual may believe that you are all of these people that you see, all of these bodies, and you are the earth, you are the universe, and you are all of that. Well, I'm here to tell you, and I'm not here to disappoint you. This will not disappoint you if you have the willingness to really know the truth. I'm here to tell you that that is wrong, that you are not the universe. If you were the universe, you would not be perfect, because the universe is simply not perfect. It is a place of separation. It is a place of suffering and fear and beliefs in its existence, which is just insane. The reality of it all is that we are spirit and formless, changeless, eternal love. So, if you believe that you are this omnipresent physical entity, this will also create suffering, because the way that you see others, even if you see that body as yourself, well, you are seeing yourself as a body then. And I'll explain that later in the video in more depth. Really, how you see yourself is how you see others. How you see others is how you see yourself. So if you see some matter and think it's you, then you will believe in illusions, and you will feel bad for making that choice to believe in illusion as your identity and self-concept. So, the great thing about being human, or we're not human, we're spirit, but the great thing about being believing, or how do I word this? You know, it's a tricky subject. So the great thing about seeming to be incarnated in a body, or the great thing about seeming to be in this separation, is that spirit is in it, and spirit is in everything. The separation is very small, and it is limited. It is seen as very small from spirit's point of view, because there is limitation in it. And it's not necessarily its size is limited for, well, we don't really need to talk about that. But I guess what matters is that because there is limitation, because we seem to be separate, and there's separate forms, and there is form, well, that is limited in that sense, and that's what I mean by small. So spirit is in all because spirit is limitless. It is in everything, but the separation is not in heaven. The separation is not in spirit. So spirit is in all, and only it is real. This creates peace in the mind, because you know this fact that nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Or you could say it like this: reality is invulnerable. Unreality is not real. Herein lies the peace of God, or in this is the peace of God, or whatever, however you want to word it. Words, it doesn't matter how you word things. But if it helps you understand to hear it in several ways, then that's good. So spirit is in all, only it is real. So if you know that your true self is invulnerable, that creates peace in the mind, because you cannot be threatened, you cannot be hurt, you cannot suffer, you cannot be lonely, you cannot lack, you cannot fear God because you're one with him, and you cannot fear well, what are the three fears, guys? Fear of being hurt or suffering in any form. Fear of lack, which is believing that you are lacking something, and that's coming from the belief that you are a body, or that you are the separation. The separation always lacks because you cannot get anything from it. You can only get something from the source, which is spirit. So, like I said, even feeding your body, you're not getting it. Your body's getting food. Getting the food. You know? It's not happening, this reality. We still have to respond to the images, because that is what will lead to our awakening, is forgiveness. To forgive is to see this whole thought system that I'm explaining. And forgiveness is to forgive the sins of your brothers and sisters that have not occurred. So knowing this, forgiveness is to remove your bitterness from these scenarios, these situations that seem to happen in the world, by realizing that they are not happening, and the world isn't happening. So knowing this creates peace, and responding to the images, well, leads to your destiny, because it will become a happy dream, and then that's where you awaken. So you don't have to let go of the dream completely until it is happy, and then you will feel guided when it is a happy dream, when you perceive correctly, and all of that. When you feel peace, you will choose to return home to love, to heaven, to the kingdom. The next point is vigilance for the kingdom and innocence. So, yeah, be vigilant for the kingdom. Be vigilant for love, and for heaven, and for light, and for God, and for Creator. This will create peace in the mind. Just your focus on it alone will help. So I'll explain why you want to be vigilant for innocence and the kingdom, the innocent kingdom, in more depth in this next point. And the next point is that the world, or that reality, is a mirror. And really, spirit, if you are spirit, there's no external thing or entities. It's really oneness in every way, in every single way. So that is completion, and all of us are included in this one. And I say all of us, but really there's only one. So I hope you guys can understand this. I am using English to explain it. And maybe I'm trying to explain love, which can't be explained, but you can explain correct perception, and that creates peace, and peace leads to the awareness of love's presence, the awakening. So, a mirror. And this is how I want to explain it in the world. So how you see others is how you see yourself. So the first step, and this is what some of you are doing, is seeing, when you see a body, you recognize that this is yourself. Well, that is also not a correct understanding of identity. Because if you see your brother as a body, if you see the child of God, the Son of God, as a body, then you see yourself as a body, and you are limiting yourself. So, and you are offering your brother limitation. So, choose to see the kingdom in others. Choose to see the formless, eternal, changeless love, the changeless, formless, eternal love within all, because it is in all. And that's just true. So if you see spirit in others, you will see spirit in yourself. So this is what A Course in Miracles calls the great rays. It is seeing the light in others. It is perceiving them not as a body, but as formless, eternal, changeless love. This is what will help you to ascend higher and to reach the highest state, which is enlightenment, which is perfect, by the way. That is what God would have for us, is perfection. That is what God creates, is perfection. And to be in alignment with your Creator and what He wants for you, that is enlightenment. That is perfect. It must be. Because why would God create something that is of levels where you have to reach a higher level, you feel a little more love, or a little... It makes no sense to me, because love is perfect. There is no level of love. Love is perfect and total and complete. And that's what God would have for us all the time. He wouldn't have growth for us all the time and levels to grow into until, that's never ending, that we never reach God. That's a sad story. So enlightenment is perfect, and Jesus is one of those beings that has reached the highest state. And yeah, so see Jesus as not a human being, but as spirit, which is yourself. He is spirit, and this is why it's so powerful for him to have gone home to heaven and formlessness, because as we perceive him correctly, we perceive ourselves correctly. And, well, we can perceive everyone in this way because that is what we are. This world is an illusion. And also what you give, I just wanted to correct this. How you see others is how you see yourself. Well, there are no others. There is one spirit that moves through everything. But to see them as a body is to see them, as external, because the world is external to spirit. And what you give to yourself. So if you give love to others, you give love to yourself. And whatever you however you see them is how you see yourself. And then the next point is teaching correct perception by seeing innocence. So you are teaching all the time with no exception. All the time you are teaching with what you are seeing. For example, if someone is suffering, are you seeing their suffering, or are you seeing their true self? It is not ignorant to see their true self and still respond to the images of the world with this knowledge of who they truly are. Because would you support them in their suffering, or would you support them in their holiness, their godliness? This is how you teach. You point out to them their strength, which is of spirit. And like, for example, in Disappearance of the Universe, this one awesome book, in alignment with the Course in Miracles and my teachings, well, it says that Jesus healed the crippled man by saying to him, he said to him, "It is man's birthright to forgive sins." And this is what healed the blind man, or I mean the crippled man. It matters not what the illness or what the illusion is. What matters is that he told him that it is our duty to forgive sins. And he said it in such a way that this being realized who he was and that he could see himself in others, which there are no others. And he understood this whole truth and fact, and that's what healed him. Because mind over matter, guys, really, like, all sickness is born from the mind, all healing is born from the mind. And with the sacred spirit's guidance, we can heal our bodies and the bodies of others with our perception that we are spirit. When we focus our mind on spirit, on love, on peace, then the body begins to heal. It is not anything else. I mean, you can raise your frequency slightly by being grateful that you are healthy, being grateful that you are alive, being grateful for all of these physical things. You can raise your frequency slightly by being grateful, but the gratitude is of heaven, and that's what heals. So it's not the actual body making you happy. It's your gratitude that's healing. So teaching correct perception by seeing innocence in all. And that is the definition of wisdom, is seeing innocence in everything, all the time, no matter what. And yeah, so if you guys want to know how to respond to the images of the world with a little more understanding of this kind of stuff on the physical level, then watch my video on justice and on righteousness and justice. I explain with some examples what is just in the world. And for example, I give the example of, like, jail. Like, someone should be put somewhere where they can't hurt anyone if they're going to hurt people, you know, and stuff like that. You do respond to the images in this way. And when someone is suffering, you don't just walk up to them with a big smile and go, ha 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 ha, you are God, ha ha, or whatever, you know, like, that's it. That's not the correct way to respond to images. If someone is suffering, say they got their house burned down, and or something, then you can show their strength of spirit to them in some way, and show them the value of being happy, and all of that, and perceive their innocence and their love. But when you look upon the world, you must respond to the images in a logical way, that you can see the effects of, in that make a positive influence, if that makes sense. I know I'm kind of just not using my words that well, but so, but every mistake, I want you guys to see the lesson of grace through it. It's that if you make a mistake, just keep going and you will explain what is to be explained. Really, I'm not making mistakes because I'm under the guidance of the Sacred Spirit. So this was a blessing as well. Just jumbling over my words is a lesson in itself. Do you see flaw or do you see my innocence? I see your innocence and I love you, and I'm teaching you things that you already know within. All of this you already know. I'm just reminding you. And support of the Sacred Spirit. So the Sacred Spirit does not support suffering. It does not grow it in that way. It does not feed it. It feeds the love in you and grows and feeds that essence. Or it reveals to you who you truly are through correct perception teachings. So support the love in people. Do not support their suffering. I'll give an example if you like. Someone gets their house burned down. Don't go to that person and say, that's a terrible thing and it's okay to feel bad and suffer and you should hate these people that burned it down or whatever happened. You should be mad. Don't say that stuff, guys. That will just make things worse and will not lead to forgiveness and their enlightenment, their joy, their peace of mind. It will just snowball and everything. So support the love in all. So true identity is spirit. Everyone's true identity, all's true identity is spirit. And its qualities again are changeless, formless, eternal love, timeless, all of these things. If anything does not fall under these categories, then it is simply illusion. And to believe and have faith in it as your salvation is to suffer and feel bad. So I want you guys to look towards the light and look inward and ask yourself, what are my weaknesses, and strengthen them by focusing on who you truly are and having your life manifest from that elixir, the elixir of the knowledge of knowing who you are. So that's my video today. I hope you all enjoyed. I love you with all my heart as one. Unconditional love to all life everywhere. Creator is.